Awesome, Ray. Well, look, thanks so much for obviously jumping on and joining me. I've just been so super impressed, as we were speaking about for a couple of minutes before, about your progress within the program. So obviously, we're just going to chat through what it's been like for you, what you've been working on, and I guess what's turned the needle, because the point of these sort of conversations are actually to help people that are watching to be able to see how simple it can be with, I guess, the guidance or the focus, more so maybe in your case, and obviously most importantly the execution side of things. So we can jump into those weeds in a couple of seconds, but just to kick off, I'd love to just have you kind of introduce yourself and the type of industry and business that you're in, and we can basically go into the details from there. So kick it off.
Yeah, hi, my name's Ray. When did I start with you? March 2024. Yeah, basically, we were a business that bought signage and printing, and after COVID, we hit it. It was quite probably devastating. So we then decided we needed to have more of an e-commerce website base. So we started a number of websites. One was sort of hazard signs, based on hazard signs, a clothing one, and a vehicle graphics one. One that sort of took off more than the rest was the hazard sign one, so that we decided to run with that a bit more. And then after joining the group, it sort of gave us more focus and inspiration of what we need to do, because we were struggling with Meta, struggling with Google, and both Kirk and Will sort of put things in perspective, and using the ecom blueprint, it sort of gave us, basically as it says, a blueprint of going forward. Because we wanted to grow the business. Well, it was probably quite essential we grow the business, and but without having the knowledge base. I mean, we've been around in business for probably 30, almost 40 years, so business isn't new to us. But the online part of it was probably a mystery, and so it's probably demystified it and made it quite simple, and achieving things like we're getting sales of Meta ads. Google is performing for us. But actually, one of the biggest thing I might have to say, Will introducing us to ChatGPT was probably that's been brilliant, because it's given us the ability, as Will said, you ask the right questions and you get the right answers, and that's been so helpful. But also the rest of the group, the inspiration ideas. It's been inspirational. But if you don't know something, well, actually back to being in business, it can be quite difficult. And if you've got an issue, you can't go and ring up your opposition and say, "Hey, we've got a bit of an issue. How do you deal with it?" Whereas this group, you've got so many people, and some of them in similar range of businesses. The amount of goodwill and ideas. Ask a question, and you're going to get some ideas bounced back at you, which is really good. So, and for the future for us, I mean, we've probably, what do we start with? We've over doubled our turnover since we started in 6 months. So, and if we just keep the momentum going by just doing what we know we should be doing now, we should be able to double the turnover again in another 6 months. But it's really entirely up to us. If we do what we need to do, we'll get there. So, and that's why Will, probably doesn't like people procrastinating, because he doesn't procrastinate himself. So it's always good to get motivation. Anyway, I'm not sure whether that's
Yeah.
You got any other questions you want to ask me, Will?
Yeah, of course, of course. And look, thanks for giving that overview. And as I said, the biggest thing for you, I think it was you have been in business for a long time, and you've been successful in other areas, just not kind of the online. And so it was almost like that, almost like the ugly duckling, I guess you could say. You had it there, but it was kind of being neglected, just probably because you had other things going on, and your focus was elsewhere. And so I guess when we touch base, and I suppose I asked you the question of like, what's your, plan with the online? He said, well, yeah, I want to grow it. I just really need the roadmap or the guidance or the know-how. And like, perfect. That's what we had to do. And the reason, as you say, that you've been so successful in over doubling like your monthly revenues. I think you said you're up 200% from year on year, month on month. And you've got obviously the plan to do the same moving forward, is really that absorption of information, that commitment, dedication, time commitment, because we're all busy and you're extremely busy with the other facets of your business and managing a team and everything like that. But your commitment to actually taking the action and doing it and seeing things through has been really, really pivotal. And it started with that decision way back when, 6 months ago, to say, I'm going to commit, I'm going to invest in myself and the business to get support, to shortcut basically everything, because you knew what you should be doing in the sense of, I know there's way more opportunity here. And that's why it's been so good to see, obviously, what you've been able to achieve. You mentioned, I think you'd gone from like 5 or 6K a month to just under 20 kind of last month, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Which is, so good.
It's also, it's also, as I said before, it's enabled us not to use other organizations, SEO companies, and that, which is saving us over $1,000 a month as well.
Yeah.
Because using someone who's a so-called professional in inverted commas doesn't actually mean you're going to end up increasing sales, because we use them probably for a year, and as sales were basically stagnating. They get to a level of $3,000 to $5,000 a month, and that's about where it stood. And that's what I see the good thing about this course. Even we might go and use agencies again, but at least we've got the knowledge to know, are they doing it right? Are they giving us right information? So it's also a checking thing. But the thing I love the most, because I like doing it myself, is that it's given me the tools to actually know what to do and how to do it, and then reap the rewards of it.
Yeah.
So it's been,
absolutely,
it's just been brilliant. I mean, the three main things you've given us is, using Klaviyo, to set up your email streams, how to do Meta, how to do Google, but also the other inspiration of what to do, like the Black Friday things, and planning. Planning is probably one of the pivotal things which you probably enforce, which unfortunately I'm probably going from one crisis to another. And in business, you're going to oil the squeaky wheel. Not that we have too many squeaky wheels, but it happens, and then you move off marketing, or the way we've set it up under what you've probably guided us to is to have as many things on autopilot as much as you can, because our previous time was you spend a lot of time marketing, go out and do that, and then you get hellishly busy, but you've stopped doing marketing, so then it dies off, and then oops, there's no more sales. What do we got to do? Got to go back to marketing. What happens now is we're getting much more just consistent growth, which means the time we're spending probably on marketing is less, because we know what the hell we're doing. Whereas before, we're doing all sorts of scattergun approaches, and also Will showed us to make sure that everything's accountable, which I knew beforehand, of course, but I wasn't doing. And if you know what returns you're getting from each ad, each Google ad, it makes you steers you in the right direction, so that it eliminates mistakes. Because when you do advertising, not all of it's going to work. So if you know what's working, which has helped us a lot, we've cut out a lot of ads. We've done a lot of tests, and some are working quite well.
Yeah.
Which is something you didn't have before.
For sure. And you covered a lot of great points there. And, like you're sort of saying, firstly, obviously the know-how, the self-empowerment, really important, and something that we just had to do, my brother and I, when we started our business. It was just by necessity, because we didn't have the funds, but that obviously forced us to learn the skills through our own sort of trial and error. And that was like, 5 years of doing that sort of thing. But then for you on the receiving end, it's like just having the confidence in the decision making, because the second guessing, the lack of confidence, the apprehensive behavior that we have when we're on our own, right, and feel on our own and isolated, is what is holding everybody back. That is just like hands down. The faster we can make decisions and problem solve and be confident, and know, like having expectations that we're not going to get everything right, exactly what you just mentioned, but just knowing that that's normal, is empowering in itself, and will make you take the shot versus not, right? To figure that out for yourself. So that is a huge part of what I see, yourself included, with people that succeed and break through where they weren't sure they could get to, before, is just the confidence and the guidance along the way, because there's nothing like feeling confident and content and just having the belief that it's going to work. Like just saying like, this is going to work. Like how amazing and empowering is that for you to actually go and just get the job, done. And then obviously to see the results and reap the rewards is everything that you work so hard and long for.
Yeah, but you've hit the nail on the head with the confidence thing, because that's the thing. Once you've got confidence, like at first attempt at meta ads, I mean, I'm almost threw my hands up and I can't. This is too difficult.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it's so difficult. But once you get to grips with it, in 6 months, almost 6 months down the track, well, setting up a Facebook ad now is pretty easy. But then I've seen some of the other new ones coming aboard, and they struggle with the same thing until they get some guidance to know what they do. And you're right. And without confidence, you don't want to take a step, because if you get it wrong, you think something's going to happen, the sky will fall in or something, or business will collapse or whatever. But the trial and error, and if you've got confidence, you're not scared to make a mistake, because that's closer to getting it right. So it is quite empowering when you have that sort of mindset behind you, which I probably we didn't have before, Will. So your course has probably been quite beneficial. Well, I'm saying quite bloody beneficial. Really.
That's good. No, I like it. And we've got more to come. I know we've definitely got more to come. I mean, just kind of on that, Ray, like if you can even recall, like 5-6 months ago, like did you recall having any hesitation, jumping in? Like it's completely normal that people do feel reserved, and there's some obviously doubt and whatnot just before jumping in to our program or any program really. But can you recall that there was any reservations for you? Were you concerned about anything, at the beginning?
Well, there's definitely reservations, because as you probably see if you're on Facebook, which I think I first seen you on Facebook, there's quite a few others out there, and there's an awful lot of, well, I won't say quite a few, but there's, especially if you look at agencies are promising the earth, which so we've employed a couple before, and but this is probably a bit different, and especially when I spoke to you, one-on-one, and then I looked at your business, and you're actually someone who's started from zero and gone through over a period of time. So you're not a fly-by-nighter. So, and you've actually walked the talk, whereas a lot of the other ones are really just trying to get people numbers on and make the money. So this was probably quite different to what I've seen before. And also the others, there's a lot of like-minded people. It's a consensus of like-minded people, which there's so much, as I've said before, so much inspiration, and without you creating the group, and I don't see others in that way. So I think what you've created is probably pretty damn special. And as I say, you've got the knowledge, and when you look at Kirk, I mean, he started with you early days, and look where he's gone. And that's actually self-made. So everyone that starts on this program has got the same opportunity, and if they only know, if they run with it, they'll get where they want to go. So follow the words of Will.
No, I appreciate that, and look, as the old sort of saying goes, it's like you can lead a horse to water, but you've got to be able to drink it, because it's that's how our lives are run, and our businesses especially. Where I get concerned with business owners is when they do outsource to agencies because they are scared to make mistakes, or they don't want to waste money, or they just want to get there faster. We're not anti-agencies by any means. We've had good and bad experiences with agencies, but it's more from the business owner's perspective that you must take charge. You must inevitably just trust yourself, because no individual cares about your business or will operate your business the way that you do and you can. And so whatever you have to do to obviously get that confidence and gain the skills and the knowledge and have the support, that's whatever's best for you is obviously going to be best for your business, and that comes with the confidence building and skills building. And so getting yourself into the right rooms or the right environment for that to happen is key. And that's, again, something that I mention all the time, is took me 5 years or more to figure that out. And we were suffering almost every day because we should have been here when we were here. And that's obviously, what I just love helping you guys with, of course.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you know where you want to be. But I don't think, as you say, I mean, we can get agencies, but I think it's important for most people, especially in small businesses, they should have a good overview of the basics of marketing. From what what you've said, Meta, you should have a basic understanding. You may not be perfect at it, you don't have to be, but you've got to have an average knowledge of it. And same with marketing. It is so empowering because you can point agencies in the direction of where you want them to go, how you want to tackle your products or services. So
100%.
Anyway,
yeah,
I've probably talked enough now.
No, you've done great, Ray. And as I say, like this is so just valuable for even just to reflect on how far you have come and the knowledge you built, because you're not the same person or business operator or business as you were 6 months ago. And it's just so amazing to see obviously what's ahead, for you. And obviously I can't wait to help you with that as well. So thanks so much for sharing that. I really appreciate it. And more big things to come. So thank you.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So you're